Welcome to the Global Speaker Advantage, the #1 podcast where your voice goes beyond borders. Hosted by Oliver Sham, international speaker and coach, this show is for speakers ready to grow influence, land paid gigs, and make a global impact. Tune in every Tuesday and Friday weekly for insights, interviews, and strategies to help you thrive on the world stage. Let's go global.
Hey. Welcome to the Global Speakers Advantage podcast. I'm super excited, duper excited this particular season and in this particular episode 29. And I'm here with the one and only Dr. Javnyuy Joybert. And how are you doing today, my brother?
Doing good, Oliver. Thank you so much. I was trying to share the links on my other platforms. So thank you for having me. And it's so good. We finally having this conversation after so many months of talking about it and procrastinating or not procrastinating, but just getting too busy and the scheduling becoming difficult. But here we are to have this very important conversation. Thank you so much for putting this together. Thank you for creating this platform that a lot of people can pass through and be able to communicate their value and their giftings to the rest of humanity. Thank you. So good to be here.
Amazing, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert. You have not just been a friend, but you are a brother, a dear one for the matter. We have been together in this journey, right? From the hills of Bamenda to the plains of Yaoundé and Douala and to United States of America. And just before we dive deeper, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert is a powerhouse of wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence. And if you're just joining in right now from any part of the world, Singapore, Germany, United States, you're joining in from United Kingdom, from Africa, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, get your seat around the table, friend. And Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, I have a surprise for you.
Okay.
I have a special letter I've written for you.
Okay? Oh, really?
So we're going to start this letter. So the title of the letter is Legacy Letter to Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, to the man who refused to die. Dear Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, you stood where death dances, where bullets sang lullabies and shadows held guns. But the breath in your lungs said, not yet. I have got purpose to run. You escaped the grave not by chance, but by calling. A mission each in midnight prayers and morning fire, to turn broken stories into blazing empires. You failed, not once, not twice, not thrice, 4 times, and many other times. Yet, you did not give up from the floor. You rose with frameworks the world now pays you for. You teach not from books alone, but from blood, from bruises, and from the backbone. You build bridges where others see walls. You unlock gold in hidden walls. And you, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, profit and purpose don't compete, they dance. And your dance has crossed 18 nations, over 5 continents, with impact in its time. Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, from embassies to enterprise, from refugees to revenue rise, you ignite legacies, not with smoke, but with truth in your eyes, sir. So I ask you this, man of fire and wisdom, if the world remembered you like this, will your soul rest satisfied? Or is there more still sealed inside you? With reference, Oliver Sham, host the Global Speakers Advantage podcast. Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, what do you have to say?
That is definitely a thought out perspective and letter, and it cannot come from somebody who knows me closely, somebody who is kind of in my close circle, and that was very thoughtful of you, and in very few words you have captured some very challenging moments of my life. And some people may just hear words, but those words are deeper than what they sound. But that means a lot. Thank you so much for that, thoughtful um, gesture, and for just communicating me from your perspective, right? And
Mm,
that means a lot because we are in a hyping generation. We are in a generation where many people want to be impressed
mm,
and want to impress other people.
mm,
And it gets rare when somebody can be able to communicate or talk about you, not just from what they saw
mm,
online, but from what they have seen about you, right?
mm,
You have come to my house in Kumbu at a time
mm,
where I was living in a house that was not well built because that was a house I could afford at the time, right?
mm,
So you know me beyond online, so that's why I'm trying to say that it is something that it is beyond just because see, there are people that celebrate you because of
mm,
what they see online, right?
mm,
And many a times people translate online influence or online popularity as if it is the same, you know, lifestyle offline, right? So thank you so much for putting that. And you asked a very important question towards the last part of that letter. And you know, as a believer and as somebody God has entrusted with some things to do for his kingdom, I'm also very committed that I abide in Christ genuinely, authentically, and according to the word. And when it is all said and done, I
mm.
can proudly say that I ran the race very well, and the Father welcomes me and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." So that is the ultimate level of of the game that we are playing at. We are playing with eternity in mind. We are playing with the creator in mind. We are not just living our own lives. We are living a blueprint. I always say that every believer in the marketplace needs to understand their prophetic destiny, right? So I am not just living, but I want to be sure that I am aligning with the prophetic destiny that God ordained for me before He created the entire world, right? So
Mm.
yeah, so that to answer the question towards the last part of your letter, that is what I would say. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing, brother. So if you have to write one line in this letter, what would that be?
Mm. One line, I think the one line that is missing a bit is just for fun is many of the times that we spent together and we were very close enough where we could meet often was when we were both still single, right?
Yep.
So so if I was supposed to add a line to that letter, I think it will talk about me as a father and a husband, right? But
Mm.
so, but maybe another time when we
Mm.
sit again together, we'll share our experiences of, getting, getting married. We have known
Mm.
each other when we were single brothers and hustling and
That's
building
right.
careers and purpose. And now we're still doing the same thing we're doing
Mhm.
as single brothers. But now,
Yeah.
what is the difference with family at play? What's the difference with a wife and with kids around us? That's a
Mm.
conversation that we're going to have very, very soon. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. And so let's dive deep to how to turn your purpose into profit. I'm excited about this. And
Yeah.
the young people around the world that will be watching this, our conversation in this
Yeah.
podcast, they will definitely be not only blown away, be edified, empowered, equipped on how
Mhm.
they can begin to convert those monetary talents, giftedness into
Yeah.
actually the real money value that they deserve. And
Absolutely.
so, doctor, most people are told to follow their passion,
Hmm.
but has passion alone ever paid bills? What is the brutal truth people need to, when trying to monetize their passion? People need to
Hmm.
hear when trying to monetize what they really love doing.
Yeah. To answer that question better, let us start from the idea of purpose,
Mm,
right? Because passion alone in thin air cannot last, you
mm,
see. But passion that has the right foundation, and the foundation being purpose, is going to last. Because you can say, passion is that fire, passion is that high level motivation,
mm,
or that structured self discipline that keeps you going in pursuing your purpose or your career or your mission, even when things are not okay. Years
mm,
ago, I said that passion is what keeps you going when the millions are not yet coming, right?
mm,
And if you don't know clearly your purpose, passion will be difficult. So many people use passion and purpose interchangeably, which is not supposed to be so.
mm,
So I think we should be talking about purpose monetization, and
mm,
then how does passion helps you to keep pursuing that purpose. Because, for example, like you, Oliver, you discovered your purpose in helping people to become better in facing the public, or using public speaking skills
mm,
to manifest their careers and their businesses and so on. But you have been able to keep living this purpose because of passion, because
mm,
you don't just like it, but you are passionate about it. And passion has character, passion has attitude, passion has evidence. The
mm,
evidence of passion is that when things are not going the way you expected, you are still
mm,
doing what you're supposed to do. That is the attitude of passion. So people that give up, they people that give up on a path that they have chosen to walk, one thing that happens is that their passion dies out,
mm,
right? So passion is that fire. Passion, I in the first part of my life, I grew up in a village known as Kwansot, right, in
mm,
Jakiri subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon. And um, to light the fire, sometimes you will need kerosene in order to ensure that the fire is lighted up faster and it keeps burning, right? So passion
mm,
is like the kerosene that you need to add to the firewood. So your purpose is the firewood, and your
mm,
kerosene is the passion. And the
mm,
more kerosene you have, the more fire will be burning around that firewood, right?
mm,
And sometimes when we wanted to farm a forest or farm a big bush, we will take kerosene and pour around the farm and then light the fire, right? So
mm.
that the fire can burn faster, or
Yeah.
things like that. So now, the place of passion around purpose monetization is that for many people, they will not be able to start making money from purpose immediately.
Mm,
So, the thing that will keep you going when the money is not coming is that passion,
mm,
right? So, we cannot go to that question and begin to look at how do you monetize your purpose even though you're very passionate. So,
mm,
passion is not enough to monetize purpose.
mm,
So I always say that my argument is that to passion, add the business part of passion. If you are
mm,
just passionate without business models that can enable you to start making money from that energy that you are putting into that purpose, you're going to give up very soon.
mm,
You see, so to answer that question is people need to start establishing business models
mm.
around what they are passionate about. Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's so brilliant. When you were relating about the story of how we grew up and kerosene and firewood and lamps, I was like, oh boy, it took me back to the nostalgia of growing
Yeah.
up in the village. And it was such a privilege for us to have that experience of using the
Mhm.
bushland. And some of our Gen Zs, they might not understand that experience, but it was really fun and worth it.
Yeah.
So, can you take us back to time when your passion almost became a liability? And how did you pivot into a profitable platform to the extent that you've spoken in 18 countries and a number of continents and still counting, Dr. Joybert?
You know, I think that one of the things that helped me early on in this industry in terms of, speaking, training, consulting, and coaching, and trying to build institutions was that my background was in business, right? Like in Cameroon education system, I did what they call commercial education. So I was
Okay.
kind of exposed to the business part of things, like reading economics and commerce and accounting and
Hmm.
business mathematics earlier on. And in high school, I did purely business program. I did accounting, I did marketing as a course on its own. I did
Hmm.
commerce and finance. I did what's another course? I did business management as a course on its own, right? So
Hmm.
many people don't have that luxury or that privilege to do that. So when I started this idea that I want to build, you know, I want to build a career in speaking and training and consulting, it it kind of gave me the right perspective to look at things from a different angle than many people will do, right?
Hmm.
But that does not mean that when I started, everything was perfect, right? I faced my own share of difficulties. I remember resigning from a microfinance to to pursue full time, this training stuff and this speaking and consulting stuff, and
Hmm.
establishing my first institution, which was a center to provide training and employability skills and
Yeah.
enterprise development to different
Hmm.
young people in the community, and then it scaled across other African countries.
Hmm.
So, but that background enabled me to always find out what is the business aspect of this, because my background enabled me to understand that if I don't establish a system that can create cash flow, this project will not be able to be sustainable,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
because most people don't have this understanding, they start many things from the place of excitement. But
Yeah.
due to my accounting background, where
Hmm.
I can easily begin to think in terms of cash flow and things
Hmm.
like that. When I'm starting, I'm looking at, okay, will this thing be cash flow sustainable in
Hmm.
6 months or 1 year from now? So that gave me that overall perspective. But again, like I always say, when I started this passion or this desire to train other people, trust me, in 2010, 11, and so on, I did not know that there was something, there was a career known as being a professional speaker. I did
Hmm.
not know about corporate training. I stumbled on these things, right?
Hmm.
Because in Kumbu at the time, I just saw that there was a gap. I saw that young people were not employable, and I
Hmm.
had passion to teach. You see now, so I started with just a concept. I'm going to teach other young people. I did not know that um,
Yeah.
you can become a professional speaker. I did not
Hmm.
know that because in Kumbu at the time, I had not been very exposed, right? I was not traveling to big cities for holidays and things like that, right?
Hmm.
So I was not exposed at that level, but I just knew that I had to teach other people. I had to train other people, especially around employability skills.
Hmm.
So and that's the beauty of starting things. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of creating things, because you get to learn a lot in the process of whatever that you are building, you
Hmm.
see. So in the process of doing that, I did learn a lot, and it enabled me to start establishing structures and systems and trying things here and there, and being able to, you know to monetize or to
Hmm.
make money out of what just started as a genuine purpose and desire to help other young people in Kumbu at the time to become more employable, as far as the marketplace is concerned. Yeah.
Hmm. That's amazing. Um, Let me just before I say this, I want to say, hey, if you're watching us from any part of the world, let us know on the comment section, on the platform where you're watching it. Let us know if you're watching us from Georgia. Let us know from Texas. Let us know from Minneapolis. Let us know from Florida. Let us know from Cameroon. Let us know South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana. Let us know, dear friend. From Sierra Leone. Let us know. And what is your nugget? What are you catching so far in this conversation? Let us know on the comment section where and which part of the world you're watching also. And Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, you're one of the person that's too dear to my heart for a couple of reasons. I remember in 2005, 2015, we met, somewhere and have some conversations.
Mhm.
And in 2010, 11, 12, 15, and all of that, I was really nailing it so well in my motivational speaking. By then, I was branding myself as a motivational speaker. So after we met, we had conversations, and from then, you really amazed me with your result. You were nailing it. You kept nailing it. And in 2018, I was sitting in the chair in an office space somewhere in Cameroon. I was actually employed by a health organization. And I watched how you were jumping from Yaoundé to Douala to Kenya to Ghana to Nigeria, speaking in platforms. And, tears run down my cheeks. Like, I was like, this is my friend. This is my brother. He is doing what we have always loved to do. And I am stuck here. I'm confined in this office. I'm confined in this chair. And I promised myself that I was going to do just this thing that I've always loved to do, that are two people I wanted to do, that I grew up dreaming and craving and letting people know that I want to do. And
Mhm.
that motivation from you at that point was just a perfect fit for me.
Yeah.
And because you were the only guy in Cameroon that I knew, that I was connected to, that we were together, that was nailing it as I wanted to. And that put me on fire. And that motivation brought me back the energy I needed to be doing what I'm doing today. And eventually today, we have been doing what we love to do. And so I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Now, what do you have to say? Just a
Sorry,
little.
let me come before you answer your next question, right?
Yeah.
You are thanking me, and I've always said this openly, right? Despite what people may see or say, but I at the time, that 2015, like I said, when I started training in my town known as Kumbu or Banso for many people from Cameroon, like I said, I didn't know that there was a career known as professional speaking. I didn't know that there was something known as motivational speaking. I didn't know, right? So, because sometimes when people see the result we have had today and the nations we have traveled, they feel as if we started perfect. No, nobody starts.
Yeah.
Nobody starts an expert. Nobody does, right? So, at that point, I was very ignorant, right? And then a friend of mine, Divine Vekichika, right?
Oh,
He
yeah.
was more exposed at the time, and then he was in Yaoundé. So he was the one who now came to Kumbu, and he was like, "Do you know Oliver Shum?" Because he saw me doing something in a small semi-urban town that you are do, and and you are the person that he knew that was doing it in bigger cities. Let me say so, right?
Mhm.
Because you at the time you were already speaking in Douala, in
Yeah.
Yaoundé, the capital city, and so on. But me, I was just in Kumbu. I've never spoken outside of Kumbu at the time. At that
Mm,
time, they say, right? So it was like him saying, "Oh, you see what it was like divine saying." What you're doing in this small little town, I,
mm,
I know somebody that is doing in a bigger city at a bigger scale. You need to know him. That's what he said. And then I checked you on Facebook, and then I connected, and I left Kumbo that day purpose to come and see you, right? We met at what? I think it's my three. S-Bend my
mm.
three. Is it
Yeah, yeah,
S-Bend?
yeah. Mm.
S-Bend my three. And
My four
my
center
four,
pole.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the car, I stopped there, met
Mm,
you, left from there, and went back to Kumbu. I didn't come to do two things in Bamenda. I came to see you. Why? Because you are the person that I said, okay, so it's like there's somebody who's already doing something that I'm trying to do,
mm,
and I don't have right that proper perspective yet at the
mm,
time, right? So it is also right thanks to you that you gave me that perspective. You are already living it at some level, at your level, and of course in a bigger city or in a bigger scale. And I think at that time, 2015, I had never been to Douala. You see,
Mm.
the first time I went to Douala, I was flying out of the country. That's the
Mm.
funny thing, right?
Wow.
So,
That's amazing, bro.
right. So that is also the power of, how do I say, the power of role models, power
Mm.
of mentors, the power of partners, of friends,
Mm.
and so on. Because like the Bible says we prophesy in part and we know in part, right? There is nobody who knows everything.
Mm.
And if you are not humble enough, or if you don't have that intellectual humility
Mm.
to just learn and to ask questions, or to just see somebody living what you desire to live, and you get close to the person and ask questions, you're going to miss out on a lot of things, right?
Mm.
So it is very, very important to do that, because eh, whether I like it or not, it gave me hope,
Mm.
right? Being able to travel 20 plus countries, 5 continents, stand on big stages, big companies that you can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know what it means to make good money just speaking, right? I've been paid well to speak, right?
Mm.
So, but that role that you play was, and I'm happy that God gave me that idea, that because sometimes when I sit outside like that, what made you pay? Because at that time, money was not easy, right?
Yeah. 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 That's right.
So paying transportation from
Mm.
Kumbu to Balinda just to meet somebody that you see. They said, like, right now, I can
Mm.
happily pay a flight to Dubai, to UK, to Germany, just to see somebody doing things at a bigger scale that I want to do, right? Because it is also a form of spiritual transference. Because you know w- there are things that if you don't honor, you don't recognize, you don't
Mm.
appreciate, you cannot manifest them, right?
Mm.
And that honor, that recognition, that appreciation
Mm.
of what other people have been able to build and achieve, it plays a bigger role in your own manifestation, and of course what you're doing. So thank you for that, and you welcome me so warmly. We have never met before. We just spoke online. That was the first time. But you were, what if you were an arrogant guy?
Mm.
Right? What if you were a guy who didn't know how to receive somebody and just freely share? Look at, we have done things at different scales. I spoke in
Mm.
your event in Rwanda. We didn't even know that we're in
Yeah. Yeah.
Rwanda,
Yeah.
right? So how do guys who are from different villages, struggling families, meet up on international scenes doing
Mm.
different things, and then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm in Rwanda. Okay, I'm also in Rwanda. Can we
Mm.
meet up?" Right? And and then the same thing has happened in the United States, and
Mm.
it's going to continue happening, right? And that's one lesson we can learn, which to
Mm.
me, it also encourages me, right? It teaches me a lot, right? It's
Yeah.
like, it's very important, and that's why I have never turned anybody who comes to me for questions down, especially younger people, right?
Yeah.
Because I know what it means to be there. I have, there are courses that I have recorded for free. Just
Mm.
when any young person reached out to me, I just send it to them. Go and follow these courses. If you practice what I've said here, you are going to succeed at what you're doing.
It's
Because
amazing.
we must be willing to freely give out, because in one way or the other, we are here because of the help and the support of
Yeah.
people at different phases in life. So yeah, so thank you so much, because that
Amazing.
must be said, right? Because very many people sometimes when they see me, because by God's grace, I did crazy things in the Cameroon speaking landscape and Africa that very, very few people can be able to do, right?
That's right.
And so when people see what I've done, or they read my track record, they feel as if this guy started perfect. No, no, I
Mhm.
did not, right? I messed up many times, right?
Yeah.
And Oliver played a big role
Mm.
in his own way to inspire and to encourage when he did. Like I
Mhm.
said, imagine 2015, what I was just, yeah, 25 years old by
Mm.
then,
Wow.
and kindly just what, doing something that you have no blueprint.
Yeah.
And then you see somebody who has the blueprint at some level, and just go talk to him. right?
Mm,
And that talk encouraged me. It gave me some kind of, open my mind and different things. So at whatever level that somebody is watching this, or at whatever level you are right now,
mm,
sometimes your next break is for you to talk to somebody on the other side,
mm,
right? And never be scared that they will not listen to you, right?
mm.
The worst thing they can do to you is to tell people. People still tell me no. I still reach out to people and they tell me no, which is
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
which is okay. And life goes on, right?
Mhm.
Life goes on. So don't feel bad that somebody told you no. Find the next person and keep on
Mm.
knocking those doors, right? Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing, bro. And look at the ripple effect. 2015, I inspired you. I had no idea what that meant to you. And in
mhm,
2018, you are the very person who inspired me,
exactly.
to quit my job and get to this full time. And you see, now what do you have to say to the young people around the world watching us right now on the importance of playing at your best? Whenever you have the chance, the opportunity, even when you don't feel like doing that, for the sake of those who are watching you and they're looking up to you, and tomorrow,
Mhm.
who knows, maybe they will be the ones to hold your hand up when you are plateauing and when you're failing. What do you have to
Yeah.
say to those who are watching us right now, Dr. Jaimon?
You see, that is one of the most important secrets that anybody can learn in life, right? That at at whatever stage that you call me personally, right? I am bringing my A game, right? A
I
podcast
love that.
interview like this, a free event. I have spoken at event for free, and then somebody in the crowd pays
Mm,
me hundreds of thousands to speak in his next event, right? And if I did not bring my A game
yeah.
at that free event, there will be no significant impact that will cause somebody to happily, book me and pay me to be a keynote speaker at his or her next event, right?
Mhm.
There was something I used to say, and I still said that today, but at that time, Cameroon was my, landscape, and I always used to fondly say that I am going to become so good at this training, at this speaking, that whether you like Joybert or not, I don't care. But there's one thing you cannot do. You cannot ignore me, right?
Yeah.
And it was a personal mission. Like I made up my mind that, you see, and when it comes to this training, especially in strategy, I picked out key areas that I am going to become so good at it. I'm going to become so good at delivery that at some point you may not like me, but you
Mm,
will pay me for my expertise. And trust me, I have seen it happen. I have
yeah.
seen people pay me to do work for them, and they
Mhm.
go tell other people that I don't like that guy, but he's the best that we can afford right now. Right? So, which is fine. And that's
Amazing.
life, right?
Mhm.
Because one thing I love about having excellent value and excellent skill set is that anybody can, anybody, whether they like you or hate you see, like for example, let me give a typical example where some people are going to complain that I cannot eat in a, for example, let me talk about poor religious tolerance around the world, right? There are things that some people will say that, oh, I cannot do this because it's a Muslim. I cannot do
Mhm.
this because it's a Christian. And then I
Mhm.
asked one guy, when you go to a hospital,
Mm,
have you ever checked if the doctor is a Muslim or a Christian?
mm.
I bet you, many of you listening to me, you have never asked that question
Right.
because you were in pain. There was something you needed done, and you did not care the religious background of that person. All you needed was excellent delivery of value.
Mm,
And that's how we are supposed to be thinking as professionals in our different industries. You see, it's very important. So, at whatever level you find yourself,
mm,
bring your A game. And this A game is continuous, practice,
mm,
continuous investment in refining your top skill sets that are critical for your industry dominance in whatever that you're building.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, your growth is so amazing. It's such a testimony. It's such a breakthrough and it's such an inspiration to the young people watching us right now, right from the hills of Seoul, Tobin Square, the hills of Jikajamin Uku, the hills of Doom, the hills of South Africa, Johannesburg, the hills of, you know, Florida, the plains of Florida. It's amazing. So I just want to read what our viewers from around the world are saying. Joining from Douala, Gabriel Gangwa, amazing. Building industries with e- eternity in mind. Thank you, JJ. Mango Bless. Great media. This is amazing. Logitech Media. Akisa Bertrand, watching from Bamenda. Great job, Professor Akisa. Fonyo Katrin, I'm watching from Yaoundé, Cameroon. Beautiful. Joining from Yaoundé, beautiful. Joel Lobe, watching from Cameroon. Awesome, awesome. We have a lot of viewers watching from Cameroon. We have Mefira Larissa. Larissa is watching from Yaoundé. Fonyo Katrin, amazing. What is the story? You both inspired each other. Greetings, great speakers by Prosper with Senor Kisa Bertrand. Wow, it's amazing to know that you both inspire each other. We have a lot of people watching on. We have Gideon. This is great. No one can ignore seriously. Thank you so much, dear Gideon, Akisa Bertrand. Whatever level you find yourself, bring your A game. Oh, I love that comment from Akisa Bertrand.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that comment. So, this actually episode is sponsored by Talks, and just a quick 53 seconds spot from Talks, and we'll be right back. Okay, so enjoy it. You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's moment for you to shine. We will work with you one on one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and list it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time. Thank you so much for that wonderful advert from our sponsor Talks. Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, you have helped many young Africans build companies from scratch. Not only in Africa, you help people from Europe and many clients from Canada, United States of America, and other parts of the world, Dr. Joybert. And one thing that really stood out is that you have a mindset of building, of setting new platforms and building space. What is a popular mindset or cultural belief that is actually killing the ability of these young people you work with to profit from their passion, be it in Africa or be it in Europe or in America? What is that mindset of unlimited belief that keeps them away or derail them from profiting from their passion, even from the onset, before you step in, within the time you step in, and after you step in?
That is a very robust question to answer, and it actually depends a lot on where the person is and the challenges that people in Africa face when it comes to starting stuffs and
Mhm.
the limitations that hinders people in more advanced countries, especially in North America and Central Europe. Um, I mean, it's kind of different. For example, sometimes in the African setting, many people don't, they have never seen themselves as creators, right?
Mhm.
They have never seen themselves as manufacturers or producers. And so the mindset to create is not there. The mindset to build is not there.
Mm.
And when that mindset is not there, the wisdom and the understanding to build and to establish is actually absent. You see, because when you have the mindset of a creator, you are going to go a step further to start thinking, how do I create? And how
mm,
do I establish systems around what I am creating? Now,
mm,
when you come to North America, because it's a functional system and is you can almost always get a job, right? So the the system that guarantees that you're going to get a job uh, easily makes people to be comfortable
mm,
with 9 to 5, right?
mm,
It clouds them from tapping into their giftings and into their purpose to
mm,
create something that can take them a step further. For
mm.
some people, it is the fear of starting. They are just totally afraid to start at all. And many a times it is lack of proper orientation. So people have different challenges or different roadblocks in their mindset that seriously limit them from
Mm,
actually, entering their creator mode.
mm,
And that kind of limits them from a lot of impact and influence. You see, there is a dimension of impact and influence that you will hardly ever enter if you are not a creator. Because, and let me clear this, you can be a creator and be a worker. You
mm.
see, we're in a
Okay.
dispensation where that is not possible. 50
Mm,
years ago, 100 years ago, the level of civilization at the time did not permit people to do that. But now
yeah.
there are people that are running amazing podcasts that they have created and they are
Mm,
full-time employees, right?
mm,
So they are able to operate from that creator mode, but yet they are still full-time employees. So we're in a generation where anybody can literally be a creator, you
yeah.
see, but due to certain beliefs and cultural, you know, upbringings or even societal stereotypes, many
Mm,
people are not yet, entering that creator mode. Like I always fondly say, creation did not end in the book of Genesis. God
mm,
just decided to systemize creation. God
mm,
decided to extend creation. God decided to be a leader because a good leader raises other leaders. So God
yeah.
said, you know what? Instead of me continuously creating,
Mm,
let me raise somebody who can become the creator and continue to create while I rest.
mm,
Right? So in the Garden of Eden, laptop was not there, but laptop was in the ground, right?
mm,
So God, in the Bible says that God breathed into us. So He
mm,
breathed into us His likeness and His image, and part of that likeness and His image is to be able to create. You see, every human being has the capacity to create.
mm,
Everybody under the sound of my voice right now, you have the capacity to create. You do. But the problem is, many people have not tapped into that capacity and they are not enhancing it. And they have not discovered in what path of life, in what industry are they supposed to express their creation abilities? There
mm,
is somebody that, when it comes to the agricultural sector, my goodness, they can create and recreate and continue creating. There is somebody that, if you give them technological tools, they will create tech, you'll be amazed. But
yeah.
if you put that same person in a classroom, they cannot create different lesson plans, they
Mm,
cannot create different curriculums. So
mm,
we are all creators, but the point is, there are certain societal beliefs
mm,
or wrong educational systems or curriculum that
mm.
has limited people from really manifesting the fullness of their creative abilities. But
I
everybody
love
can
that.
create. So we need to first of all start breaking and looking at what is limiting me from creating,
Mm.
and you address that negative pattern or negative belief and
Mm.
enter your creation mode. Yeah.
I love that. So let's look at it from two perspectives, Doctor. Number one, the perspective of people who create institutions like schools
Yeah.
where people come and they're educated. And number two, the people that need to do the creation,
Hmm.
irrespective of whatever institution they choose.
Yeah.
What advice or recommendation do you have to institutional leaders who create institutions and deploy people to those
Hmm.
institutions where they have to consume their curriculum on
Yeah.
how to design it in a way that it enables those heroes to create, to bring out their genius, to bring out their superman or superwoman
Yeah.
after by the time they are graduating. Number two, what advice do you have to give to those who are watching us, thousands and millions that will be watching even after, on how they can align themselves in order to equally or evenly distribute their creativity abilities in
Yeah.
the things that matters, in the niches that matters, not
Hmm.
experimenting here, there, now, tomorrow, after tomorrow, and all of that. What do you have to
Hmm.
do? Say to those two institutions, both the
Yeah.
institutions creating the educational system and the individuals that they have failed. Maybe the institutions mismanaged, mishandled, and misinformed or
Hmm.
miseducated them, and they are at the point where they are confused, like, what should I do with my life?
Hmm. Well, that's a very great question. And to address those two questions, we need to organize two separate master classes on that.
I
Right?
know you do a
But,
lot of that
but,
already.
but in this is a conversation that I have had with many university chancellors, vice chancellors, proprietors at different levels on refining curriculum that can meet up with the current society where we are, and especially in terms of let's especially in the African setting. There's even an article I did, and I was arguing that the current education system, let me not say current, but let's say in the last decade, because there's a lot of improvements now when you look at, because uh, um, in 2015, 16, 17, I used to lecture in a university, right? So I know the management courses, business management course, or the business faculty. So when I looked at the cost structure and what was happening in the marketplace, there were a lot of discrepancies. But now that is changing a lot. When you, it's not like in Cameroon, when you look at the current HND curriculum, it has greatly been improved, although there is much work that should be done. But when I looked at it, I appreciate the drastic change and the new additions that they have added. So what am I trying to say? That those who are in higher education, even high school or even in primary schools, they need to be they need to create a dynamic system, or a system that can enable improvement consistently,
Mm,
right? And meet with the current needs, and let the education be structured in a way that let it be project based, right? Let's say, for example, um, when there's a course like, let's say, history, right?
mm,
We all did history in secondary school. We should not just sit in class and copy notes about the history of Cameroon, but
mm,
before Form 5 or before high school, can we create a system where the students can create a project
mm,
around you know writing the history of their family right
mm,
to the fourth generation. You
mm.
get the perspective, because
Yeah.
when you get things hands on like that,
Mm,
you put them anywhere, or you put a student anywhere, they're going to survive
yeah.
because they have become skillful in certain things. One thing about history is knowing how to tell the history. I
Mm,
did history for 5 years, but I was terrible at storytelling. I did
mm,
literature for 3, 4 years, but I was terrible at storytelling, right?
mm,
But those are things that, so we have to become hands on. And secondly, we have to create courses based on the needs in the marketplace. Like, I was having a
mm,
discussion with some university proprietors and founders, and I told them that, look, gentlemen and ladies, if your banking finance faculty does not yet have cryptocurrency as a subject, as a course, you are late. I was
mm,
challenging them. I was talking to journalism. I told them, if your journalism department does not have a subject that can teach people how to run blogs as independent journalists, how to
mm,
run YouTube news channels, you are already behind news. Because we are in a generation now where there, for example, me, I don't, a true consultant will never trust traditional media for any
mm.
news. You see, we don't trust CNN because these are they are programmed, right?
Yeah.
So if you want real news, you people prefer people who are truly seeking objective, analysis. They don't consume mass media.
Mm,
They consume independent journalists who are objective in their analysis and give clearly what the people need to hear. You see, so I was talking to them. I said, look, if you are doing marketing and you don't have independent courses
mm,
on how to run Facebook ad, on
mm.
how to run Instagram ad, you don't have independent courses like that, you are late. You are training young people, you are giving them knowledge that will be useless in the marketplace.
Mm.
You see, so
Yeah.
so that's the same thing. That's still my message right now.
Mm,
And for for the young people, one of the most important skills that anybody can have right now is the ability to question things, is the ability
mm,
to unlearn, relearn, and keep on learning. Because the world is changing so fast. And
mm,
one of the most important things that a young person can do right now is to create a system around them that keeps them updated about the major things happening in their industry.
industry. Mm,
Right. So let's say you can subscribe to newsletters, you can subscribe to top universities, you can subscribe to research think tanks, you can
mm,
subscribe to all these organizations that they are so good at releasing new ideas, innovation, perspective of where the market is going to or where your industry is going to, and you start learning those things practically and enhancing them. When you are able to operate from this perspective, you will hardly be left behind and you will always be 10 steps ahead of majority of the people in your generation. Yeah.
mm,
There's so much to say about that, and but there's a lot that needs to be done, and we need to come also to a point where there is a proper collaboration between academia and people in the marketplace. And that's one thing that the United States got so right, right?
yeah.
Like, for example, there are many courses across universities in the United States that they must be taken by somebody who is in the field.
Mm,
I
yeah.
know many universities that, like, for example, I did a program in Clark Atlanta University that the people that were teaching us innovation and things like that, they were people that are either working at the time in IBM, in Google, in things like that. So when you
Mm,
go to Harvard, Stanford, Yale,
yeah.
Northwestern, you go to Chicago, you go to different universities, you will see some core programs that are not taught by lecture professors, typical professors. They are
Mm,
taught by even people that don't have MBA, but they are in the field.
mm,
There are programs in politics that there are senators who go and teach those programs. There
mm.
are Congress people that go teach those programs. There are
That's fantastic.
current administration directors that go teach those programs. Why?
Mm,
Because they want to ensure that there's a strong relationship between academia and of course what is happening in the market real time, right? So
mm,
we need to be able to start merging those together. So our universities in Africa, they must be comfortable at finding a structure, a system that can enable that collaboration between academia and of
mm.
course what is happening in the marketplace. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. That was so insightful and that was deep. And I really want to take this opportunity to appreciate some universities in Africa. I know a couple of them in Cameroon, like the Baptist Higher Institute of Professional Studies
Hmm.
and the Yaoundé International Business School,
Yeah.
and many others who are disrupting the game. Like recently, I had a call from the Baptist Higher Institute of Professional Studies to
Hmm.
lecture public speaking last year, I think somewhere early this year. And
Hmm.
that was after advocating for so many years the importance of having public speaking as a curriculum, like you're saying,
Absolutely.
in the classroom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dr. Hilda and her team, they reached out to me like, hey, we'd love you to come and lecture undergraduate students on public speaking. And it was a
Yeah.
game changer who also attended my course. Like, it was
Yeah.
this
Oh
game
yes.
changer and
Oh
amazing. And Yaoundé International Business School is doing pretty good. They invite experts every year to
yeah.
come in
Oh
and
yeah. Hmm.
doctor and build some brain cells in the minds of their new students, like old
Hmm.
students. And that's amazing. That's game changing, bro.
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
do you have to say to those universities who are still behind and they still want to be disruptive, but they are not doing what disruptors are doing?
You see, one thing I also think that is lacking with most of those universities is that they want to do it, but they don't have the capacity to do it, right?
Mm,
And that's why there are some universities I know that they have created positions known as, chief innovation officers,
mm,
or they have created a vice chancellor position and
mm,
given to somebody who can relate with the marketplace and create programs within the university that can bridge that particular gap, right? So most of the universities, they need to hire experts,
yeah.
right? Who can create a system, create a structure. Create. I've done that for a few higher institutions. Some of them have not implemented because some of them too they don't want to invest money in doing that. But here's the fact: I was talking to a university founder and I said, look, there are things if you don't start doing now, you can have the best buildings, but I guarantee you in 5 years, students will not come to a university
Mm,
because you will not have the things that will enable those students to even desire to come,
mm,
right? So most of these institutions, they may need to start hiring experts, and their job will be to create programs that can enable that high level transition and collaboration with the marketplace.
mm. I
Because
love that.
because if you desire without competence to execute your desire, it's not going to help you in any way. The desire will just end up as frustration, right?
Mm,
So there needs to be that strong relationship between that desire that they have as leaders of those universities, and let them also check, do we have the internal competence to do that? If they don't have the internal competence, they can either hire it or they can pay consultants like me to design for them, train
mm.
somebody internally to run it for them. I've done that already, right? So
Great.
it is something that it's not a see what we're talking about, Oliver, is not a nice to have. It's a must have for any
Absolutely.
higher institution. It's a must have because where the world is going to, it is inevitable.
Mhm.
So it's either they have it or they don't have it and then regret later. Yeah.
And that's it. And so, Dr. Joybert, we are living in a content era right now as we
Yeah.
talk, where
Mm,
an average human being is good at least in something, and they create content about that thing
yeah.
they are good at.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, what's the difference between passion in content and positioning in content?
Let me just start by saying that the people that will win are people who have mastered how to merge the two. Your ability to integrate passion and positioning will
Mm,
set you apart because passion enables you to bring some creativity and not to copy and paste, right?
mm,
And when you bring in creativity that is fueled by your passion, you can stand out. However, if you are just passionate and you don't have positioning skills or you don't understand the the business part of positioning, you can be passionate and you have no voice. You
mm,
can be passionate and you're broke. You can
mm,
be passionate with no brand. So positioning enables that to your passion there is a brand,
mm,
and to your brand you have a business model to
mm,
make money from that particular brand, right? So, same as you can see people that have mastered the game of positioning, but they have not found their passion,
mm,
right? So, you need to come to a place where you integrate the two. However, let me also add a very important tip here that at some point, I always advise people that at some point, when you start making some money, or if you have the money, just go ahead and get the expert who can sort out your positioning. Because positioning is more of technical skills, right? So you can get somebody who is good at social media management. You can
mhm,
get somebody who is good at branding,
mhm,
creating branding assets. You can get somebody who understands algorithms and things like that. And
mm,
when you merge those kind of technical skills with your passion, you will
mm,
literally be on fire when it comes to content creation, right?
mm,
So we should be in a place where we are managing or we are integrating the two simultaneously. So for most solo people, or for most people who are kind of one man army,
mm,
or one man, business, they
mm,
need to make sure that they learn the two, right? How do you ensure that your
mm,
passion is having the right, positioning around that passion,
mm.
as what, so that you are not just passionate and on fire for nothing, but there's a system that can even enable you to make some money from your passion and be able to do the two. And you don't become, you don't position yourself overnight.
Mm,
It is it's a continuous journey. Till today, 15 years after, I am still positioning.
yeah.
Everybody's still
Mhm,
positioning, right?
mhm,
Social media is changing every day.
yeah.
Algorithms are changing every day, right?
Mhm,
So we need to keep on learning. But I always tell people that if you have the money, or you start
mm.
making the money, get some expert who understand some key things around positioning and begin to pay them, and you're going to scale a lot and produce great results from that purpose that you're passionate about. Yeah.
Great job. You know, Dr. Joybert, I had this thought a few days ago, and I was like, one of the craziest and disruptive niche for authors now is writing any book about social media, growth, algorithm, systems, scaling up, because it keeps changing every second,
Yeah.
every hour, every day with AI and all of that. So the question I have for you, Doug, is this: if you had to delete all your social media accounts right now as we talk
Mhm.
and start it over from zero,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do to convert your passion to profit within 30 days?
Well, within 30 days, that within 30 days you can lay the foundation, right? Except for somebody who has a very, very big name, right? Like artists, football stars and all of that. But in the education sector, or in a very professional setting, 30
Mhm,
days is good enough for you to lay the foundation. Sometimes monetizing will be a bit tricky,
mhm,
but it is still possible, right?
mhm,
However, if I'm starting from scratch today, what I will do is that I will first of all ensure that I have a good profile,
mm,
right? Very important. Have a good profile, because trying to be visible
mm,
with a bad profile on
mm,
Facebook, on LinkedIn,
mm,
is already going to slow you down, because the algorithm is designed to favor the settings of your profile,
mm,
right? So I will do that. Secondly, I will try to gain attention with people that already know me by sending the right friend requests and connections and all of that
mm,
first. Then my next action will be create quality content. Why? Because content in this generation is what enables you to go through a four-step process. Because for somebody to pay you, they need to know you, like you, trust you, then they pay you, right?
mm, mm,
So quality content, or creating proper content around your area of expertise, or
mm,
what you're positioning around, will enable people to start knowing you, to start liking you, and to
mm,
start trusting you. Then they
mm,
can pay you. Then, so establishing a content plan or calendar that will enable me to know exactly what I'm going to share for the next 30 days is
mm.
very important, because there's no human being that just wakes up and likes to pay you money when they cannot trust you that you can deliver, right? And creating quality content and sharing it consistently begins to position you in the minds of people, begin to drive that perception that, hey, this lady or this guy, the way they talk, the way they present what they're talking about, they sound like somebody I can trust to solve my problem, and I can happily pay to get things done. So I think that if anybody can do these four things the right way and consistently, they are going to be able to start recording proper results, in their life. This is even something I did, right? I was off social media for 1 year exactly,
Oh
right?
wow, that's
So,
was mind blowing, man.
so when I came back, trust me, the algorithms were not in my favor, right?
Mm,
And many people forgot about me, right? So,
oh my
because
gosh.
and that is
Mhm,
that's one thing with social media, right?
mm.
When you are not showing up consistently, people forget about you,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
they follow other creators, right?
Mm,
So when I came back, I just had to make sure that my profiles were good, and I just had a clear content agenda.
mm,
Just consistently show up. And as I kept on showing up, the attention started coming back. And
mm,
of course, the inquiries and the clients and all of that started
mm,
coming back, right? So it is one thing that if you're going to make money from
mm.
social media, one thing that you cannot you cannot play around with is your ability to create content that makes sense, especially not just empty content, but content that communicates what you're trying to build or the expertise you're trying to market.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, being somebody that's very personal and relate with you, I have with confidence that the absence of 1 year on social media uh, retreat was worth the impact it plays on your social media platforms. And I
Yeah.
know maybe I may be wrong. Maybe what do you have to say about that? Because I have many of them watching right now. So was the absence of 1 year retreat, was your 1 year retreat of social media platforms worth, the negative impact that almost happened on your social media
Oh,
platforms?
oh, oh, definitely. I will do it over and over again,
I
right?
love
Over and
that.
over again.
Great.
Because when you do that, it gives you time to create what people can consume, right?
I love
So
that.
it was definitely worth it. And that is something I always keep doing a lot, more often, taking time away from
Yeah,
the noise and all of that in order to create, refine, correct, and much more. Yeah.
I love that. Dr.
Mhm.
Joybert, you're one of the most smartest and the most intelligent young African. Cameroon is so honored to have you. You're such a blessing to the young people as they are watching right now and those who will be watching after. Being one of the smartest communicator that Africa got, and right now in the United States of America, what do you have to say to the 19 years old young girl from Bamenda watching you right now, or the 21-year-old young boy from the hills of Chicago watching you right now, who is going through trauma, depression, anxiety, battling with lots of pains, trying to build a business, trying to build a career, trying to set up his or her life, on the importance of staying focused, being resilient, and looking up to the goal and not paying attention to distractions and sidetractions, please.
You know, for you to focus, for you to be resilient, for you to combat distractions, there is you must have found something that is more profound and more powerful than distractions, than your ability not to focus, right? So
Mm,
for any young person, one of the best things you can find I always say that before you clock 25, and that's one thing that to me I stumbled on it, right? I did not know that's what I was doing. But one of the best things that happened to me was that I I found what I was supposed to do kind of very early on. I
Mm.
just knew that God gave me a teaching gift. God gave me a
Yeah,
teaching grace and anointing that we're called in the church space.
that's right.
So I always say that anybody between the age before you clock 25, and nothing wrong if you have crossed 25, but one of the best gifts you can give yourself before your 25th birthday, I always talk about three things.
Mm.
Number one, find your purpose,
Mm.
right? Because focus becomes easy
Mm.
when you know what you're focusing on. You cannot
That's
focus on thin air, right? Resilience becomes easy when you know what you're pursuing in life. You know
right.
your life mission, right?
Mm. Mm.
Curbing distractions become easy when you know where you are going to redirect the attention to, right?
Mm.
So discover your purpose, and sometimes it is not that easy for many people, right?
Mm.
Now, the second thing is
Mm.
clearly identify the industry that you are going to become a key player in on earth. You understand? It's
Mm.
very important. Many people have not found that. Many people just look for jobs aimlessly, or
Yeah.
they just start businesses. But I think that one of the most important things that a young person can decide is saying, as an individual, as a person,
Mm.
anything I'm going to build
Mm.
will be in this industry,
Mm.
right? For some people, it could be technology. Some people, it could be agriculture. Some
Mm.
people, it could be
Communication. You.
communication. It could be education,
Mm.
healthcare, or whatever. Pick it, right? Because that way, it enables you to focus and to be resilient around something. And then number three, very important, is do a lot of projects, start a lot of things and fail. Because there, there, there are many things in the journey of life that
Mm.
you will not be able to develop by reading books.
Mm.
You cannot develop courage by reading a book.
Mm.
Develop courage by failing through projects.
Mm.
Right? There is a certain dimension of resilience that you cannot read a book on resilience and become a resilient person. No.
Yeah.
You need to go through some tough seasons in your life.
Mm.
Then you are going to know if you're a resilient person. Right. So, and there are some things in this destiny that if you are not building things, you cannot learn.
Mm.
Right. So, purpose, find your industry, and
Mm.
happily start many projects.
Mm. I
Happily
love
start.
that.
You can even decide, I know what, I'm going to organize a birthday party for my friend. That's a
Mm.
project.
Yep.
Treat it like that. Go through that thinking, go through that research, go through that review, go through just lead things. Go to
Mm.
church and take something and say, you know what, the church is planning to do this. Take part of that project and execute it on your own. I
Mm.
am telling you, anybody, I have sat on many recruitment things. I have recruited somebody who I was trying to investigate. Have you ever led something? And she told me that she planned her sister's wedding.
Mm.
I I recruited her for that particular thing.
Mm.
There were other people with master's degree and they have never started anything or run any project in their life, not even a family project. You see, so put yourself in a place where you are starting and running projects. It's going to change you forever. It's
Mm.
going to
I love
change you.
that.
All right.
Thank you. That was powerful nuggets there. You're a man of faith, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, and we cannot end this podcast without you letting know you have an international ministry and it's expanding almost at the speed of light. And the Lord is using you to heal people from cancer, heal people from dreaded diseases, almost incurable diseases. You are able to pray and people get their recovery and healings and deliverance. What is the role of faith in us fulfilling our purpose and monetizing it?
You see, man is in three phases, right? There is the spirit, the soul, and the body, right?
Mm,
So every man is spiritual, right? There is a strong role that spirituality has in fulfilling destiny at the highest level. There is a level of destiny fulfillment that you can never experience if you don't understand the role of spirituality. That is why there is a lot of occultism. That's why there is a lot of sect. That's why there is a lot of witchcraft. That's why there's a lot of these things here and there. Because whether is demonic spirituality or the kingdom of God spirituality, at a level, there are things you cannot break through if you don't understand how to play, how to be skillful in spiritual things, right? And faith in God, and I always boldly say this, you see, my true manifestation of purpose started making sense in, I think, around April 2013 or 12, when I found Christ for myself, not just the Jesus I knew because I was born and raised in a Christian family and around the church, right? There is no way I can talk about the works I have done in the marketplace across different continents and nations and hundreds of cities without clearly communicating or showing you that, you see, on this day, in this month, I saw the miracle of God at work in my career like this.
mm,
I can tell you things that I prayed for
mm,
and God answered in this way, right?
mm,
And unfortunately, many people are very ignorant about the role of spirituality
mm,
in who they're going to become, right?
mm,
And many people, until they come to that realization and make a decision and really transition from religiosity, from just
mm,
being churchy, into genuine, authentic, you know, Christ rooted spirituality.
mm,
Other people have chosen their own path, right? That's people choose witchcraft, occultism, and things like
mm,
that. That's their own path that they choose. But what I'm trying to say is that in the marketplace, there is that battle of territories.
mm,
And many people are not just coming with their brains. Many people are not just coming with their strategies.
mm,
Many people are backed by altars and native doctors and chief priests from different, settings of this, of whatever, however you want to call it, right?
mm,
So I cannot talk about my journey in the marketplace or my journey in across the industry and across different nations without clearly, openly, without any shadow of shame and regret, acknowledging the role of Jesus Christ, the leadership of the Holy Spirit in where I am, and of course, where I am going to. You see, and you cannot convince me. I have seen the power of God at work tremendously in my own life and in the lives of the people that I have had the privilege to lead a ministry to with, right? So people need to have a deeper reflection around that, a deeper discussion around that.
mm,
And people need to go beyond just the church setting that they grew into. They need to find God for themselves.
mm,
They need to sit down and really get their Bible and study for themselves and ask God to properly reveal Himself to them.
Mm,
You see, when the ministry I lead, known as Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship
mm,
International, the mission is to show people that path where they can begin to merge their faith and their careers and their faith and their businesses. And we have seen tremendous testimonies and the move of God in a mighty way. We have entrepreneurs who fast and pray, who do all night in their businesses today with tremendous results, and the proof that truly the power of God moves in careers and businesses, right?
mm,
And if you have not found Christ for yourself, trust me, there's something you're missing out in destiny.
mm.
It's not a church cliche, it's not a religious cliche, it is the fact of life. There is a God who created you and I, who created the heavens and the earth, and you're only safe, you're only going to win if you're playing alongside Him and in total surrender and alignment with divine principles that He has laid down for functioning here on earth. You see, and many people are struggling to win in life because they have no idea that there are divine principles that run this life,
I got you.
right? So, yeah.
I love that. And that explains the reason why a young man from Bur in So Okumbu, who had little or no hope, eventually became a speaker in United States and speaking around the world in over 21 countries like you. And that's explained why a young boy from Northwest region, myself from Hui Division, who could eventually speaking to over 16 countries and doing amazing stuff. And I think is on the principle that God orchestrates our path. It is
Mhm.
on the philosophy that we succumb our path to Him, and the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit led us to be doing what we're doing. And to the person watching right now, if you want to get uh, how you can proceed with upscaling your spirituality, having personal relationship with Jesus, we call our Savior. Please, I will recommend highly you reach out to Dr. Javnyuy Joybert even before we end this conversation. And now, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, just some quick questions for you. You just have to answer them quick, surprise questions to you. Which is your favorite book ever read?
Apart from the Bible, most of my strategies in business are actually, if you've gone through any of my frameworks and you're somebody who spends time in the scriptures, you will know
Yep.
you can literally begin to pinpoint that this sounds like the Bible, right? But apart from the Bible, I've read several books, several good books. Trust me, every book I read it's always like this so good, right?
Mm,
Trust me, sometimes it's difficult to pinpoint
mm,
which is my favorite book because I, how do I put this?
mm.
Because I approach every book. See, when you
Yeah.
have intellectual humility and recognize that we know in part, every
Mm,
book will be a favorite book. Why?
mm.
Because every speaker will always, every writer will always communicate something you have never known.
Yeah.
You see, because if people read books the right way, trust me, they will not have things like favorite books. Trust me.
Mm. I love
Because
that
when
perspective.
you're reading a book, you want to pick there is the mind of the author you want to pick out
Mm,
and add to your existing body of knowledge
mm,
to see results you have not seen before.
mm.
Right? Like the book I'm reading right now, John D. Rockefeller's Letters to His Son, right? One of the first billionaires in the world ever.
Wow.
Powerful book, right? So I'm reading that book right now. I'm like, this is the best book ever. And that's how
Mm.
I said with the last book, right? So, so they're just great books here, and we just need to read them and of course consume them. Yeah, it's difficult for me to say.
Yeah, bro. Your beautiful wife, Sylvia Javnyuy, who is her best friend apart from you? Her name and which country she is right now?
Well, her best friend in Noella. Her best friends. She's in the United States. They were actually, um, I, I think they were high school They were in high school together. They were in university together. They have been best friends before I met her. I think they have been best friends, and they're
Wow.
still best friends. But so I think last what 15 years so
Mhm.
far they have been best friends since I knew her. I think so. So
Amazing. So, best advice your mom ever gave you?
God and school. My
Wow.
mom had always emphasized that, you see, one of the best gifts my mom gave me was to make sure that I was rooted in God.
Mm,
Although I was stubborn at first, but she never gave up, right? So she kept on insisting that without God I can do nothing, right? And she also emphasized that, you see, in my family as a whole, for both from my uncles and aunties, my mom, I'm the first person that had a master's degree.
mm,
Right.
wow.
So it's and that was a result of my mom.
Mm,
Because many people don't know that at the beginning I didn't like school. That means I hated school so much that I was always the worst performing student, both in primary school and secondary school.
mm,
That's how much I hated school. So it affected my performance in school. I was always the what, like we say in class, the last student. Throughout primary school, I was always the last student.
mm,
I didn't like reading. I didn't like book, right? So, but she never gave up. She always emphasized God and education. God and education. Yeah.
mm. I love that. Our stories are almost similar, bro. So, and what was the worst mistake you ever do on the stage? Where was the event you messed up? Like, I read your post on Facebook, and to the other day you were dreaming out of the stage. When was your worst mistake ever as a speaker on the stage?
I'm happy that that event happened when I was still in Kumbu, and I was still in my small scale village or so. It happened in Kumbu, and I did not at that time. I did not master how to merge having, you know, let's say a book I'm going to use as my guideline or outline, and then having some key points that I'm going to depend on using offhand or off heart, right? So
Mm.
um, I, I think the mistake was that I did not train. I did not. It's not. I don't think I can say it's a mistake. It's just that I was still being trained.
Oh, I guess you.
Yeah.
And lastly, that's so exciting to know. What are some key tools that you cannot travel for a speaking gig without having on your toolbox?
Sorry.
The tools you cannot travel for any speaking gigs without having on your toolbox.
Well, I would say my laptop. I trust my laptop more.
Mhm.
I will. I always have a flash drive.
Mm,
Every presentation I have, you'll
mm,
find it on my laptop, my flash drive, and in my Google Drive.
mm.
I always have the pointer. I have my own pointer that I have it all the times with me because I
Yeah.
use it. Yeah, so because I always have spare battery for my pointers in my
Mm.
bag.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job. Wow. Wow. What's an interview? So thank you so much, Dr. Jamie. We had a lot of comments pouring from Facebook. John Noel is like, this is so powerful. Look, as duty asanga is like, failure is a tool to help build some capacity in you. Do not do a lot of projects. Amazing. So we have Dixon is saying that Dixon said, so much wisdom. Thank you so much, sirs. Then Prosper has summarized almost all the things that we have said. He said purpose, discovery, choice of your industry, like communication, education, technology, whatever. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Joel Lobe is like, in the marketplace, there is a battle of territories. And of course, Pastor Luke Asanga says, every beginning starts with God. I love that. And so many other comments that we may not have all the latitude of time to read everything. Thank you so much, Dr. Jamnyuy Joybert, a dear friend and a brother. And it was such a privilege for us having you here at the Global Speakers Advantage podcast in our St. Louis Park studio, Minnesota, United States. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming. So, any last word?
thank you so much for having me. It was a very, very insightful conversation. And I'm sure we're going to have part two of this because
Absolutely.
we there is still so much. We have not really spoken about the how to turn passion to profit. We just laid the foundation.
That's
Uh,
right.
there's a framework I've used over and over with different people
Mm,
that we're going to have part two to share so that because I love to give people a step-by-step process to
yeah.
follow in detail to really achieve what they should be achieving with the knowledge that they got. So part two of this, we're going to handle that. And
Mhm.
there are many important things that we shared from our experiences in this particular episode that people should just relate with it, pick the lessons they can pick, add what they have, and keep on executing. And I believe that when you put God first and do your part,
Mhm.
trust me, there's nothing that can stop you. Yeah.
I love that. We just put together the notes and the bolts and the notes for this. And of course, I know you have the notes and the crannies of the in and out of setting up from passion to purpose and monetizing it. And obviously, we would love to have another part B of this podcast. And Dr. Javnyuy, how can people reach out to you if they want to book you to speak in the event, physically, virtually, around the world, or physically around the world? And what are the social media platforms you would like to send people to check you out, please?
Yeah, I think anybody can reach me easily on any social media platform. Just type Javnyuy Joybert or Joybert Javnyuy. That's a very unique name. You will not struggle to find find my account details. Just send me a DM. I reply all my DMs myself, and I will happily reach out to you.
Oh, what an opportunity that they're reaching out to you directly. And dear friend, that was how we got it for our 29th edition of the Global Speakers Advantage podcast. Dr. Joybert, extend our heartfelt and warm greetings to your beautiful family, your beautiful wife, and your amazing kid, and to wherever you are right now. To our viewers, thank you so much for watching and sharing and commenting and the love. We love you. Remain blessed. We're looking forward to have Dr. Javnyuy Joybert for the second part of this edition of this conversation that would be of a rich blessing to you. And until we meet again, we want to give a high shout and special thanks to Talks for sponsoring this particular edition. Of course, it's of the Talks company. And thank you so much, Talks. And until we meet again, see you next time and enjoy the art. You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's moment for you to shine. We will work with you one on one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and list it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time.